WWT presents Partner Spotlight.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Partner Spotlight brought to you by WWT Presents. My name is Neil Anderson, Area Vice President of WWT's Cloud and Infrastructure Solutions team. I'm very lucky today to be joined by my great friend, Jonathan Davidson, who is Cisco's Executive Vice President and General Manager of the networking business at Cisco. His organization leads and builds optics, hardware, software, and systems innovations for the largest and most advanced networks in the world. And all of that is, Jonathan's experience spans nearly 3 decades. He's got incredible comprehensive understanding of what organizations need to do with their IT strategy now and in the future. So Jonathan, it's great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us here.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to be here with you, Neil, and thanks for inviting me. And it's always good to spend time with you. We've known each other a long time, and obviously our companies are great partners as well. So happy to be here.
So Jonathan, let's dig in a little bit. When I talk with customers, I hear a lot of challenges they're facing around adoption of cloud, how that's changing the network architecture, hybrid work and return to work, cybersecurity threats, and then, of course, AI. All of those things really putting a lot of pressure on the complexity of the IT network. So what are you hearing from customers, Jonathan, around complexity and what are you thinking in terms of trying to simplify?
Well, I think you hit it right on the head there. The way that applications are being written today, it's just how software is written today, is so much different than it was 10 or 15 years ago. Obviously, with the cloud, with the need for applications to not only some of them will be in a private cloud, public cloud, some want to be closer to where the consumers are, and that's really means that we have to fundamentally change the network and the security architecture, and it really is pushing a lot of complexity into networking infrastructure. And I think we all know, if you're in the networking space, that is critical infrastructure. If your Wi-Fi doesn't work, that makes the family very unhappy. But obviously for business, it's critical to make that work. What we've seen is a real desire from our customers to have a simplified experience. And we talk about it being simple. We talk about it being a unified experience. You and I used to talk about different domains. You had the campus, you had the branch, you had the data center, you had the wide area network, you had the carrier network. And what we're really hearing is that they want a unified experience, simplified, so that I can not only have great connectivity, but so that I can have a simplified security experience as well. I don't have to do multiple different consoles, input different policies in different places, and that just adds to the complexity that our customers. So customers want unified experiences, and this is where we've been talking since June about what we've been calling the Cisco Networking Cloud, which augments our Cisco Security Cloud, which was launched about a year ago.
Yeah, I'm hearing very similar things, Jonathan. Our customers are feeling kind of overwhelmed with a number of tools, the number of platforms, and they are really trying to figure out how do I consolidate that so I can make the productivity of my IT teams much better, and as well as talent shortages are really causing issues for our customers as well. So I hear that all day long that like simplification is really, really top of mind. And so how are you working with your teams on simplification? Do you give them a sort of a mandate that hey, you gotta make things simpler, guys? And I'm just curious how do you really get serious about simplification?
Well, that's a great question. I think you called it out. It's about the people on the team, and I started at Cisco in 1995, so I've seen a lot of the journey of having very domain specific best of breed products. And what our customers want is they still want best of breed. They still want to make sure they're getting the right cost and performance, and that's just table stakes just to even get invited to the table. So that's top of mind. But what they're looking for now is not just, I don't want a domain management data center. I don't want just a domain management for campus and branch. I really want that simplified experience. And what we've seen inside of Cisco, to kind of give you the behind the scenes look of things, there's a view that we have an opportunity to really break down all those silos. And when we started talking about this a few years ago, the feedback was, yeah, everyone on the team wanted to do that as well. It's almost like they needed to get permission to do it, which of course, yes, permission, please, let's go simplify. And once you start breaking down those silos, the teams just came together so quickly in such a fantastic way. And then you're seeing that start to come out. Cisco Networking Cloud is the vision for how it all comes together, but it's really been coming together for years, so that in the Meraki dashboard, as an example, you can manage your existing Catalyst switches on premise, and you're going to see over the next 6 to 12 months how we're going to bring more and more of the traditional Cisco portfolio into that management construct as well.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of demand from our customers, Jonathan, for cloud managed networking. Of course, there are customers that still need that on-prem management and control plane, but more and more customers seem to just really want a simplified experience. And I think what you're doing with, using the Meraki cloud as a foundation and then expanding that to the Cisco networking cloud to give that cloud managed unified experience for IT, I think that's really a fantastic vision that we're pretty excited about. Can you talk about, I know that Cisco has been involved in a number of different acquisitions that I've closely followed. One of them is Thousand Eyes. Can you talk about your vision for Thousand Eyes and why you feel that's unique to Cisco?
Absolutely. Well, I also want to clarify. So when I say Cisco Networking Cloud, that is a proper noun, which includes both cloud-based management as well as on-premise-based management. It's really important for our customers to know we are not abandoning those on-premise use cases, whether you're in the government or if there's legal reasons or whatever it might be. We want to make sure that you've got choice and the simplicity. So it should look and feel the same no matter what kind of management console you're in. Now, Thousand Eyes, we love Thousand Eyes. Customers love Thousand Eyes, and I've been working with the Thousand Eyes team for a decade. So from when they were about a 10-person company to today, and the leadership team, the way they build products is absolutely fabulous. They have the best data set on what is happening across the global internet on a second by second basis. They have the best view of what's happening inside of the biggest private public SaaS companies in the world, as well as what's happening in the public cloud companies. And so you put all those things together and you have a great view of what's happening to all of the various networks. And if you as an enterprise were to go and deploy it, then you start to get that visibility extended into your users, your applications, your things that you want to understand what's happening, what's broken, and then really help you troubleshoot very rapidly. So we've seen that work. We actually it tightly integrated it into our SD-WAN portfolio as well, so you can do predictive with AI to understand where you should go and invest more dollars, perhaps for more capacity, or how you can reroute your traffic to get great services. But you called out, we have made a few acquisitions. There's a few areas that our customers have been telling us they'd like to get more visibility. So in the consumer broadband networks, we made an acquisition there, and we're really excited about integrating that directly into the Thousand Eyes platform. Number two, we actually acquired a company called Escalating, which gives us really tight measurements for carriers around 5G deployments and making sure they're meeting their SLAs for their business customers. And that is also being integrated into the Thousand Eyes platform. And then we acquired a BGP company out of Europe that is going to help them extend the capabilities, Thousand Eyes extend the capabilities, give you even more data on what's happening in the BGP world, which is critical. That's how the whole world communicates with each other. But we're also excited about how Thousand Eyes internally is expanding into more of that end-to-end assurance view. So you know what's happening with your end-to-end applications, whether it's in your private data center or whether it's in that public cloud or whether it might be an edge application. And really only Thousand Eyes is able to do that.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, Jonathan. Like you, we've been working with the Thousand Eyes team since they were a startup, and we became big fans. The idea of crowdsourcing global connectivity, breakdowns and performance is just phenomenal, and so super excited about that. So, Jonathan, the world has really been turned on its head a little bit with generative AI and really creating a conversation in every boardroom at every organization around what is our strategy for AI. I'm curious what your thoughts are around how you're planning to leverage AI for both to improve your products and make them simpler and smarter, as well as what your thoughts are and how you're preparing your organization to support AI infrastructure where workloads are actually running.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just top of mind in every conversation, and I feel like we have a little timer as how long are we going to have a conversation before AI comes up. And so this has actually lasted a pretty long time until we got to the AI topic. There's really four areas that we think about AI specifically. One, and we've talked about this on our earnings calls as well, where Chuck has shared how we're selling into the largest hyperscalers AI capabilities, both at the switching layer, the optics layer, and connecting large data centers together to be able to go and run these really massive AI workloads, both on the back end as well as on the front end. So that's number one. Number two, we are taking that technology and making sure that it's easy for enterprises to be able to go and handle AI workloads as well. And AI isn't new. It didn't just pop up in the last 10 months, but we have been helping customers with their AI workloads for years and years and years. But we're certainly it's top of mind now for almost every single customer that you and I both speak to. So that's number two, is really simplifying it, making it easy for people to consume AI infrastructure. The third area is really around how are we making it easy for our own developers and going and using technologies so that we can put out better products, so that we can actually make sure that our products are even higher quality than they have been, and really improving the experience of our software developers. And so it's an internal use case, but that benefits the customers. And really the fourth area is how we're integrating these technologies into our products. And we've been integrating AI into our products for a long time, whether it's radio resource management for Wi-Fi, or what we launched a year ago with our SD-WAN solutions, specifically around predictably understanding what's happening with your SD-WAN solution and pivoting things back and forth, which we talked about a little bit earlier. And of course now actually taking generative AI and putting them into the products to make that prompt interface, moving from just GUI onlys to actually a prompt. So you can actually, in a more conversational language, talk to the product, and the product can give you better understanding of what's happening, or you can go and implement security policies and all sorts of really exciting things that can be done with this new technology. So we're excited. We know our customers are excited about it. And I think that we're going to see some pretty transformational innovation over the next 6, 12, 18 plus months in this space.
Wow, radio resource management, there's a blast from the past, and I was just talking with someone yesterday about, how quickly should organizations really attack the AI problem, and and the analogy I gave Jonathan was, look, I think you really need to get ahead of it, because if you go back and think about wireless, you remember when we worked together in organizations where some organizations were saying, hey, I'm not going to deploy wireless. It's not secure. And so what did people do? They went out and found a way to do it themselves with shadow IT, plugging in a Linksys router to the network. And the same thing happened with cloud. We will never be in cloud. So what happened? Different people went and did the credit card swipe, and they ended up in cloud in sort of a shadow way. And I look at AI a little bit the same way. If you don't really start to embrace that and figure out how you're going to do it, how you're going to expose it to employees in a safe way, then people are going to find ways to use that technology because it's just so compelling. I'm wondering if you're thinking about it in those kind of terms as well.
Absolutely. And it's moving so fast. For those who are following it closely, literally every day there are new skills and new capabilities and new language models that you can go and take advantage of, not just in our space, but if you look at those on the creative space and arts, like it's just so amazing what a single human or a couple of humans can now accomplish. You can literally build out, short skits, movies, and all sorts of things. And it's going to be really exciting how much all this innovation is going to show up in the next months and years. You actually reminded me. I remember when we were working and WebEx came into Cisco, and I would go and talk to companies about that, and I'd say, hey, are you using WebEx? And they would say no, but I had already looked. I'm like, well, you did 10 million minutes of WebEx last month, so clearly someone inside of your company is using WebEx. And it's one of those things where if you don't get ahead of it, if you don't give people the ability to go and leverage it from an IT perspective, it will find a way. It will just start to happen. And so I 100% agree with you that we as leaders inside of our companies, we need to just let that potential be unleashed in a safe way. Obviously, we have guidelines like don't put source code into ChatGPT and things like that, because you don't want to train third-party models on your own intellectual property. And so we're really careful with that. And what we've seen is that people have been very, very careful, and they've followed the rules. We have ways of tracking these things, as do most companies. And so we're really excited about it. We're really excited about where it's going to go. And we think this is going to be great overall for Cisco, for our customers, for our partners, and for what that end user experience is going to end up as.
That's fantastic. So let's turn the page a little bit and talk a little bit about security. Earlier in the year, we had your colleague Jitu Patel on one of these partner spotlights and talked with him about what his views are. And I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on how closely do you feel like the two of you are working together and have to work together on bringing security into the networking products? Because our customers are when we sort of look at it, we think about it really has to be secure everywhere in the network. It's not a standalone thing anymore. The DMZ is kind of gone. Every part of the network, every part of the architecture has to provide, contribute to security. So I'm curious, like how closely do you feel like you and G2 are working together?
Well, we sit right next to each other. Obviously not when I'm not working from home, when I'm working in the office, which is most days a week. But besides sitting together, our teams are working together so well. We jointly are working together on what is the common unified experience. What's the user experience for all of our platforms, whether they're on-premise or cloud. We actually have integrated the cloud. So if you go to an example, if you go to the Meraki dashboard and you actually want to integrate that with our SASE solution, it is one unified dashboard. You don't know that the back end is actually coming from our security business group. But these products are so tightly integrated with each other. And so there's just a tremendous amount of work because we want to make sure that if it's connected, it's protected. And the way to do that, going back to what we first started with, is it needs to be simple. It needs to be easy. It needs to be seamless from an experience perspective, whether you're an IT professional or whether you're a software developer. You just want access to connectivity securely. And I always give you the analogy, people just want to turn the tap on, have good clean water come out, be able to drink the water. They want connectivity the same way. I want secure connectivity. I want to turn the tap and I want it to just come out and to be able to utilize it. So we work very closely together. Our teams work closely together. And you're going to see security and networking continue to be more and more seamless over time. And literally our roadmaps are more integrated than they ever have been. And we have the Cisco Security Cloud, we have the Cisco Networking Cloud as a way to talk about it. But we want you to make sure that when you go to those, you won't even notice that you're going from cloud to cloud. Like when you're in AWS, there's lots of different services you go to, but you don't know that you're going to different engineering organizations inside of that. And so you basically just view this as a Cisco cloud, whether it's on premise or whether it's in the cloud. And that's really the vision of where we're headed to. And you're going to see us continue to march down that path over time.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, Jonathan. And I'll tell you, our customers are really demanding that. I give so many briefings to our customers around networking and security team right together, as well as my colleague here, Chris Conrad, who leads our security organization. Him and I feel like I'm on the phone with him all day long, talking about different customer challenges and how we bring the architecture together. So we're seeing exactly the same things. So Jonathan, obviously Cisco and WWT work very closely together. Like to get your perspective on, what makes WWT such an important partner for Cisco? How are the two companies working together, and what do you see the value that we bring to your organization?
Yeah, so the two organizations do work together so well. There's a lot of joint outcomes that we're driving together for our joint customers. And what I think sometimes people don't understand, even internally, the scale, the depth, and the breadth of the capabilities of WWT. So I feel like sometimes I'm the internal evangelist for making sure that people understand how we can continue to not only leverage everything that WWT does, but also to make sure that we're going and giving customers outcomes. Because we talked about simplicity, but really that simplicity that our customers want is because they want to focus on the outcomes. They want to focus on their business. They don't want to focus on making sure that the plumbing is there so that the water comes out on time and that it's drinkable. Right? They just want the connectivity. They want it securely. They want to drive their customer outcomes. And this is really where I think WWT plus Cisco together, focusing on the customer and their outcomes, is really where things are so powerful. There's simple things that aren't simple. Like you've got great labs. We can go in there together. We can pull multiple technologies together and make sure that the outcome can be generated for a customer. Obviously, you've got massive scale. So the ability to go to a joint customer and tell that customer, sure, you want to roll out 400 sites a week, not a problem. I don't worry about it. I don't stress about it. I don't have to think about it because I know you all have it completely in the bag, and you're able to do these kinds of great things. To what I would say is, you touch so many of our joint customers and beyond that you give us great guidance on where we should be focusing our engineering efforts, what we could or should be doing better. And that is so important for us. We really value the relationship and the candid relationship that we have. So, I always say your friend is the one who's going to tell you that, you've got something on your face because you just had a sandwich. That's how you know a real friend, is that they're going to tell you when there's something wrong with you, and other people might just giggle. So I really feel like you tell us how we could be better. And I personally truly appreciate that candid relationship.
Yeah, and likewise. And I feel that, you mentioned our labs. We do have a tremendous investment in our Advanced Technology Center labs, and we really help to kind of beat up the Cisco technology and give you the feedback that you need to make your products better, as well as integrating with other, products in the ecosystem that our customers demand for their, the architecture for the problems they're trying to solve. So then one final question, Jonathan. What kind of other innovations are you excited about, either at Cisco or anywhere else in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a broad topic. There are so many exciting things that are happening. It's really, I think today it's about the intersection of different technology areas. And so, one of the things that I feel like we kind of missed during COVID was just the serendipity of bumping into each other in the hallway. And we had a lot of video calls. I felt like I had more communication with customers and partners than ever before, but they also usually were for a particular topic. So I really miss the serendipity. So now that we're out traveling and people are out, traveling to see us as well, whether it's in San Jose or Chicago or Atlanta or Paris or any of our sites, we're able to have that serendipity, those lunch conversations, those dinner conversations, and really understand where people are going. So, one of the things that I view is also very exciting is what we've been calling routed optical networks, and this is a pretty fundamental transition in the market where it's opening up an ecosystem that has been closed for the existence of time. When you think about optical and optical networks and transponders, and how if you had one vendor on A, the B side for connectivity had to be exactly the same vendor. And now we've opened it up. There's an open standard. It's ZR, it's ZR plus, and we're seeing such great momentum in the market. And I think it's going to truly fundamentally change the way infrastructure is built, whether you have your own private wide area network for the government or a Fortune 1000 company, or if you're a carrier or a hyperscaler. This is a fundamental transformation. And anytime you add openness into a market, you see the innovation wheel start to spin faster. You see costs start to come down to move the bits, and that's where our customers end up winning. And so I love to see when open standards really start to take hold, and we're seeing that now. So that's one of the other areas that I'm really excited about.
So, Jonathan, our customers, as they're looking out into next year, into 2024, there's so much coming at them from the industry in terms of innovation and products, as well as, cyber threats and AI that we've talked about. What would you recommend that you think that IT organizations need to think about as their top priorities for 2024?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. What I've seen in talking to lots of customers, whether you're a Fortune 100 or whether you've got 100 retail locations, the technology has been changing so rapidly over the last 24, 36 months. And what I hear, what we've been talking about is around simplicity. But then I find out that they're using a management system from 10 years ago, and they haven't tried cloud. And in our analysis and our conversations with our customers, we believe that there's 9 out of 10 of our customers that could today leverage and get benefit from a cloud-based management in some portion of their network, whether it's that branch location or whether it's inside of their campus location, and how much easier that is going to make your life. You have to worry about upgrades a lot less. In many cases, we do that for you, and so there's just fundamental changes that I think people have been so busy just running and operating the business, they haven't been able to look at the technology that's out there. And oftentimes, we oftentimes when they say, "Oh, I have a Cisco thing," and it doesn't manage it really that great. It's like when we go and we analyze that, they're using something literally that's 10 years old and it was end of sale, end of supported, and so they haven't really seen all the great innovation. So my suggestion would be go and take a look. Take a look at the Meraki Cloud. Take a look at what we're doing in the security space from a cloud perspective with our SASE solution and our SSE solutions. And I think you're going to be pretty amazed with what's available out for you in 2024. And it's not going to be as hard as you think it is.
Yeah, I see the same thing, Jonathan. I mean, definitely SSE is a very hot topic with customers. I know that Cisco's accelerating yourselves in that space. You talked about simplification, definitely on customer minds. The other thing I see on customer minds is around, hybrid working and return to office. A lot of those office environments are still, they were maybe 3 or 4 years old going into the pandemic. Now they're another 3 years old. And I see our customers a little bit in a little bit of a scramble to get those environments back up to speed, especially when people are coming into the office and expecting the same kind of experience over voice video that they've had, in their home offices. They're expecting that, and some of those office networks are just not up to the task right now. Are you hearing that similarly?
100%. So, people have either the consumerization of IT has definitely happened. People's expectations level have gone up, and they're like, "Hey, I've got my home setup working. The audio works great, the video works great." They want that same experience. But the interesting part that we've seen for some of our customers is that during that period they might have closed 1 or 2 offices, and so you've got more people in a smaller space potentially. But they haven't upgraded their Wi-Fi network, or they haven't upgraded. So when people come on to that stage, you have more people potentially in a smaller space. The network's not ready for it, and so there's definitely an opportunity to simplify, to upgrade. And what we talk about is you want to make our spaces that we're in a magnet for our teams versus a mandate, because people are probably still going to write code better at home, but especially if they're early in career, they're going to want to be in the office. They're going to want to ask questions 20 times a day. I remember being early in career and literally just standing at people's cubes, waiting for the a few seconds so I could ask them a really dumb question and then go back. And I would do that all day long. And so we want to be able to continue to drive those relationships, and that requires us to make every place a great place to work. And I think that's a great perspective.
Yeah, and we call that employee experience, and it's more critical than ever to give that great employee experience because, talent is short, and you want to make sure you're retaining the people that you have and the people that you're investing in their development and their skill sets. So very top of mind for our customers, Jonathan.
100%. This is one of the reasons why we actually went and integrated the Thousand Eyes Vantage agents into our WebEx devices, as well as into our AnyConnect that sits on a lot of tens of millions of people's laptops, is to be able to understand what is the experience. Because oftentimes, if you're an employee and you have a bad experience, you're probably not going to call IT unless it's just plumb broken. So how can you understand that experience? And that was for for all those conference rooms that have got a WebEx display in there, or if you have a Desk Pro at your house, or if you have the ability to, if you're running an AnyConnect client, you can now, as an IT team, understand your employee experience without having to send out surveys and without having to wait for them to call you to complain. And I think that's really powerful. We really want to make sure that it's a great experience for everyone, but we want to make it simple to understand if it's a great experience. And these different technology areas, those intersections of technology, is a great way to be able to transform that and give data to those decision makers in IT.
So Jonathan, I could listen to you all day. I learn so much from you every time we have a conversation, but we're up on time. So I wanted to thank you for joining us today. And, I really appreciate your time and the topics that we talked about. Love to learn from you. Love to see the innovation that's happening at Cisco. So thank you for coming in today.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation, and absolutely appreciate all the guidance. And I learn from you every time as well. Sometimes I don't like what I learn, but I always appreciate it and appreciate the candidness and look forward to continuing the great partnership together.
Awesome. So also thank you to the viewers for tuning in on WWT.com. If you'd like to learn more about WWT and our Cisco partnership, please visit the partner section of WWT.com. We have a lot of great resources that talk about Cisco products and the services that we provide. And feel free to reach out to WWT if you have any questions moving forward. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time.